It is Kieran Trippier. It is delicious! Glorious! Glorious!
Walker in there too. Luke Shaw! Harry Kane wants it played into him. He chooses Grealish instead. It's Grealish! It's Kane! I think like this has happened for a long time. Here's the overhead kick from Kane! Palmer finds Watkins. Watkins turns! Watkins scores!
Hello and welcome to the Gate 102 podcast. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for tuning in for another episode. It's great to have you with me. But this episode is not just any other episode. It is more than that, because today I'll be talking about the time England beat Germany in a knockout game back in Euro 2020. This was, I'd say, the game I was most looking forward to talking about when I started this podcast. And after 58 episodes, it's finally arrived. I think this was one of those England games where everyone remembers where they were, who they were with, what they were doing, because England winning against Germany in a tournament game is not something that happens very often. So, yeah, very memorable game. And definitely one of Southgate's greatest accomplishments whilst in the dugout. So starting with the team. Now this was an interesting one because England played all of their group stage games with a back four. But for this game, they changed formation to a 3-4-3 system. So that sparked quite a few headlines. I think the reasoning behind this was it allowed a bit more defensive solidity in there, especially against a really strong German team. So it was Pickford in goal, back three of Walker, Stones and Maguire. Shaw was at left wing back, whilst Trippier came back into the side at right wing back. The midfield duo remained the same with Rice and Phillips, and that was a partnership that was developing quite significantly that tournament. And then the front three of Sterling on the left, Kane through the middle, and Saka on the right, and he kept his place after impressing in the last game against Czech Republic. So even though it was slightly more defensive, it was still really attacking because he had fast and pacey wingers running off Kane, as well as wing-backs pushing high up the pitch, as well as the midfielders pushing on. So yeah, it was still a really attacking lineup despite a more defensive system. I must admit it was a very end-to-end game for most of it, but especially the first half. Both teams had the chances. It was very hard to differentiate between the two sides. But I'd say England probably looked the slightly better team, but there wasn't much in it. But I think something that really impressed me in the first half was, and throughout the game, was the link-up between the wingers and the wing-backs. I think when you see a 3-4-3 system, there's a lot of talk about, well, can you play both wingers and wing-backs? And Southgate did it perfectly. So it was the fluidity of the wing-backs and the wingers, the link-up between them was amazing. You know, when one overlapped, the other would drift inside, vice versa. So I thought the link-up was fantastic between the wingers and the wing-backs and the whole team as well. I think England's best chance of the first half would have been almost the final kick in the first 45 minutes. And that's when Harry Kane rounded Neuer. And he seemed set to score. But Hummels produced a last-ditch goal-saving tackle to deny the England captain from scoring. And it was a really pivotal challenge. And it's a shame because it was a really good opportunity for Kane. And it would have been amazing for England to go in at half-time leading 1-0. But, like I say, a fantastic tackle that denied that and kept it goalless. It meant nothing separated the two teams. But Southgate would have been really pleased with the first half as England played well. But at the same time, it was nerve-wracking to watch as a fan because Germany had some key players and Pickford had to make some important saves. So it was entertaining to watch, but also, well, like every game in the tournament can be at times a bit tense, especially this game. But moving on to the second half, and this is where the magic happened. It was one of them where you knew there was a goal in the game. Like, both teams could continue to have chance after chance, and it was only a matter of time before someone got the goal. And thankfully, that goal was England, as they took the lead on the 75th minute mark. And who else could it have been other than Raheem Sterling? And he scored the goal against Croatia, he scored the winning goal against Czech Republic, and he scored England's opener against Germany. I remember Guy Mowbray said on commentary that the summer of Sterling continues. And he was right, because he was so clinical and dangerous in front of goal that tournament. And he once again came big in a moment where England really needed someone to put the ball in the net. An amazing goal. And that goal was special. And to see the celebrations of England fans made it even more special. And it's one of those goals where you've seen back so many times. And it actually meant Sterling had scored 15 goals in his last 20 appearances for his country at the time of this game. And that was an incredible achievement, especially after going 27 games without scoring prior to that. Yeah, honestly, the way Southgate transformed Sterling's England career was so good to see. But I know I've given Sterling a lot of praise here, and quite rightly. But the problem was that a few minutes after he scored, he then did the worst back pass, which meant Thomas Muller was through on goal, 1-on-1 with Pickford. So Sterling had gone from hero to everyone going berserk at him because he just played Germany's striker through on goal. But thankfully, England's luck went their way, and Muller placed the shot wide, and everyone could breathe. So yeah, it was a relief for England and a relief for Sterling more than anyone. I remember watching it live, and my whole house just went silent and almost held our breath when Muller was through on goal. But in the end, it was a really poor shot, and England remained in the lead. And thankfully, England secured the win with 4 minutes to go from time. And this time it was Captain Fantastic stepping up. Harry Kane scored England's second goal of the game. And what an amazing goal. And as soon as Kane scored, you just thought, yep, this is it. We've done it. We've won. And a fantastic header from Kane. And that was his first goal of the tournament. And it was an important one for him because he'd been getting a bit of stick from some quarters about how he hadn't scored or assisted in the group stage. But there he was in the first game of the knockouts, just when England needed him. Again, just like Sterling's goal, really, the assist was what made it even better. Jack Grealish, who came on as a second-half substitute, he played a fabulous cross onto Kane's head. And Grealish made a real difference when he came on. I think a lot of people were disappointed he didn't start the game, but his impact off the bench was crucial. And like I say, he got the assist, a really key assist as well. And then the full-time whistle blew, and once again, to quote Guy Mowbray, he said he's done it. He's only gone and done it. And he was obviously referring to Gareth after he missed that penalty against them 25 years ago. And now, 25 years later, he's knocked them out of a tournament in a knockout game, this time as manager. Yeah, just beyond words how special that moment was, not just for England, but for Southgate himself. And after the game, Gareth spoke to BBC and said how pleased he was. And he said, "I was looking at the big screen and saw David Seaman up there. For my teammates that played with me at Euro 96, I can't change that penalty miss against Germany. But what is lovely is that we have given people another day to remember." And yeah, just amazing words. And the scenes at the final whistle demonstrated just how important this win was for so many reasons. And it felt like there was so much jeopardy around this game, but England played so well, and that win would have given them such a psychological boost going forward. It gave everyone a boost. Players, Southgate himself, fans. And do you know what? I feel like a lot of people who are maybe not Southgate fans, they almost try and claim that this German team was not very good and almost try and downplay the magnitude of this win. Now, I just want to remind people that this German team that England beat had a squad of 8 Champions League winners. That's 8 Champions League winners. They also had a manager who won the World Cup a few years before. But for some reason, a few people try and dismiss just how good of a German team this was. And England and Southgate totally defeated them and knocked them out so convincingly. Because you get like the old saying how we didn't play anyone good, but we're just beating a German team with 8 Champions League winners in it and a manager who's won the World Cup. I mean, if they're not a good team, who are? So, yeah, a special day. And again, I think the key thing about this is, in a win like this, it just brings people together. It brought my family together. It's just, I remember after the game, I bought some new football boots that morning or the day before. And I went to try them on afterwards. And I remember playing football at field, and this was after the game. And everyone was just celebrating and cheering with each other. And I bumped into my old barber, and we were like, gave each other a hug. It was just like, this is what tournament football does. And this is why international football is the best, because it just brings people together. And it's a day that has lived long in the memory and will continue to do so for a long, long time. And it's a win that echoes throughout generations. And on that note, I'll leave it there. But in my next episode, I'll be following on from this great game and talking about another great game, England's quarter-final against Ukraine. And this game was actually the only game England played that tournament that was not at Wembley. But that game's coming your way next week. So, keep your eye out for that one. But I hope you've enjoyed this episode. I hope it's brought back some amazing memories as well. So thank you so much for listening. Always appreciated. Until next time, take care of yourselves. I'll speak to you soon.